We have an emergency Steam sale, people! To fill in the gap made from moving the autumn sale early in the year, the Black Friday sale has now descended upon us. These are my picks, my recommendations for games to be on the lookout for, because we have some absolute bangers today, people. Hello, everybody. It's your boy Jmulls, and let's get some savings. First up on the docket today in the evening, we have one of the best JRPGs, in my opinion, ever made. Metaphor Refantazio. Atlus's magnum opus that beautifully blends the mechanics and formulas of their two other acclaimed series, Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, into one cohesive whole that, in the end, produces one of the most well-put-together games I've ever seen. Combining the beloved social simulator elements of Persona right alongside the rigorous yet strategic and oddly addictive combat loop of Shin Megami Tensei, Metaphor Refantazio juxtaposes all of that with an immersive fantasy setting, and it tells one of the coolest stories I have seen Atlus ever tell. And it does it alongside amazing characters and one of the most unique soundtracks I've heard in the medium. I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing Metaphor Refantazio, and you can play the entire prologue as just a demo to whet your appetite. And believe me, at the end of that demo, you're going to want to just play the full game. And it's one of those games that starts out strong, but it just gets better and better as time goes on. I think it is Atlus's best work yet, at least of the games that I've played. And that is saying something from one of my favorite studios out there. Metaphor Refantazio is 50% off for $34.99. Soon, Octopath Traveler 0 will be released. However, maybe you want to replay the first two games, or you want to dive into the franchise for the very first time. Well, both games are on sale right now. These are phenomenal turn-based JRPGs from Square Enix that utilize that iconic HD 2D style, and it makes these worlds look so colorful and beautiful just to look at. And while I haven't played the second game, I have played a fair bit of the first game, and it is one of the most unique stories I've seen. The whole premise of Octopath Traveler is that you can take up the reins of one of 8 characters initially. You experience a bit of their story, and then as time goes on, you travel the world finding the other 7 party members, experiencing their stories and adding them to the fold, expanding your party and acquiring more mechanics going off from there. That style of storytelling will be rather off-putting to some people, but for others, it gives Octopath Traveler that unique charm that no other game really provides. Pair that right alongside a really great turn-based combat loop that Octopath Traveler provides, where you build up and manage BP so that you can do large, giant attacks all at once. It gives the combat loop an excellent sense of pace, but also makes even the weakest spells in your repertoire feel as if they have a purpose, just they may be a little bit inefficient to cast from time to time. The planning and the strategizing in Octopath Traveler really is addictive, and if you are a fan of turn-based JRPGs, you owe it to yourself to at least give Octopath Traveler or Octopath Traveler 2 a look. Octopath Traveler is available for 60% off at $23.99, or you can get the Octopath Traveler and Octopath Traveler 2 bundle for 60% off of $44.62, or if you only want Octopath Traveler 2 by itself, bearing in mind Octopath Traveler 2 does have a prologue demo, you can get it for 60% off for $23.99. Doom the Dark Ages is a phenomenal game, however, its $70 price tag at launch was rather steep for a lot of people. Understandably so. However, with this Steam sale, it's available for half off, so it's as good a time as any to get into Doom the Dark Ages. Whether or not you're a fan of Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, this game is a prequel to those other games. And whereas Doom 2016 and especially Doom Eternal were far more focused on mobility and jumping around the place to evade enemy attacks, Doom the Dark Ages is far more focused on parrying, giving you a shield with a freaking chainsaw around it, and a whole host of various cool weapons, like shredding up skulls to shoot the fragments at opponents. It's gory, it's visceral, I mean, come on, it's Doom. There's a reason people love these games so much. And while the formula here is definitely distinct and rather separate to Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal, I think there's enough similarities here to where, especially at this price, you will probably find some kind of enjoyment out of this game, because oh my god, is it freaking cool to ride around on a giant cyber dragon, or pilot a giant mech suit punching mountain-sized demons into Kingdom Come. My god, this game is an adrenaline-fueled love letter to gore, violence, and demon killing. It's hard recommending it at $70. But hey, if you just want more Doom, it's available for 50% off for $34.99. While everyone is disappointed over yet another GTA 6 delay, might I recommend taking a step back into the past of 1947 to partake in one of Rockstar's best games they've ever made, LA Noire. You play as Cole Phelps, a newbie to the LAPD, and over the course of the game, you must rise through the ranks, solving numerous different cases for different departments, all the while slowly putting the pieces of the puzzle together to unravel a grand conspiracy that is afoot. It's an open-world Rockstar game set in 1947 Los Angeles, and it's broken up into various cases that you solve over the course of the game. I mean, come on. This game is genuinely that good, and if it has eluded you or just passed you by for whatever reason, now's as good a time as any to jump into it. This game is timeless, and it's so dang fun. LA Noire is available for 70% off for only $5.99, an open world Rockstar game at that price. I mean, come on, layup. This is the game that started it all for me. Spyro 1 for the PlayStation 1 was the very first video game that I ever played, and I'll never forget being introduced to the game by my aunt as I sat on her knee and she showed me how to play with a PlayStation 1 controller when I was still just a little kid, and I love that game and I love that purple dragon ever since. And while the tank controls of old may not have aged that gracefully, thankfully, we don't have to worry about that anymore because Spyro Reignited Trilogy is here, and this to me is one of the best remakes/remasters I've ever seen. Not only does it have more modern platforming controls, not only does it have a bunch of little cheat codes you can enable to modify how Spyro looks, like big head mode and different colors and a whole, well, largely those. My god, it brings to life the worlds and environments of Spyro 1, 2, and 3 to just absolute gorgeous levels. The use of color, my god, these worlds are so pretty, and they're just absolute fun and joy to navigate and platform around, and Spyro controls better than ever before. If you're a big fan of 3D platformers and you haven't played Spyro, or you played Spyro all those years ago and you just want an excuse to revisit it, this deal is absolutely worth it. Spyro Reignited Trilogy is 65% off for $13.99. Trails in the Sky First Chapter is a phenomenal remake. However, some people may just prefer the charm of older JRPGs, or you want a cheaper alternative to getting into Trails. Well, may I recommend the original Trails in the Sky? The story is just as good, even though there's no voice acting. You can mod in Japanese voice acting, but the visual presentation is definitely that of an older RPG compared to the remake. While that may not be for everyone, it will be for some, and I think this game is just as good as its remake counterpart. And my god, I absolutely adore the turn-based, grid-based, strategic combat loop of Trails in the Sky. But I'm not only recommending the first chapter here, I'm also going to be recommending the second chapter. You see, Trails in the Sky First Chapter leaves off on a massive cliffhanger, and if you're anything like me, you don't want to wait for the second remake game. You need to find out what happens now. Well, the original second chapter, the immediate sequel to Trails in the Sky First Chapter, is also out on discount. And while I'm still making my way through second chapter, oh my god, is it a step up from the original. And I already love the original. It's fun, it's bigger, and even more bold than the original. And if you simply do not want to wait for the second chapter to be remade, I don't blame you. Feel free to take the plunge and pick up Trails in the Sky second chapter, bearing in mind this deal will end before the rest of the Black Friday sale. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky second chapter is available for 35% off for $19.49, and the original Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky is available for 50% off for $9.99.
Oh, I know what the ladies like.
When we talk about the term console seller, to me, that distinct honor belongs only to a few game series out there. Halo was one of them. It's what put Microsoft and Xbox on the map originally all those years ago. The original Halo games on the original Xbox and 360 stand the test of time, and Halo the Master Chief Collection comes equipped with all of the best Halo games, and you also get Halo 4. The value here is insane. Not only do you get a bunch of multiplayer, but you get the campaigns for Halo Reach, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and also Halo 4. These games shaped my childhood. These are games I return to almost yearly. Not because there's anything new to play, but because these games, their gameplay loops, their map design, the weapons sandbox, the stories, the characters, the quotes, the moments, the flow, the pacing, they stand the test of time and stand head and shoulders above their competition. I hold these Halo games in the highest regard. And if you just want another excuse to play Halo, or for whatever reason the series passed you by and you never got around to them, now's as good a time as any. Because when Halo is at its best, there is nothing like it. Halo the Master Chief Collection is available for 75% off for $9.99. Look, the next Nier game may be far off, but my god. Nier Replicant and Nier Automata are two of my favorite games of all time. Nier Automata being my favorite game of all time. I have yet to encounter another game series out there that is able to blend gameplay with storytelling as effectively and as engagingly as Nier. Less so with Replicant, but especially with Automata. I think both of these games specialize in different areas. They both have that hack and slash third-person combat, whereas in Replicant you're using a grimoire of ancient magics to blast through your enemies, and in Automata you have a pod firing machine guns, missiles, summoning in giant freaking hammers to launch enemies to Kingdom Come. It's so fun. These games mechanically are super fun, fast-paced, and visceral. The characters, memorable, everlasting. And the stories, I mean, my god. Nier is second to none. So many games out there feel as if they're almost ashamed by being a video game. As if they have to have an asterisk saying, yeah, we know we're a video game, but we have a great story. When it comes to Nier Replicant and Nier Automata, they go boldly, hey, we have a great story here, because we are a video game, and we're going to make use of the unique mechanisms available to us by virtue of being a video game to further and to elaborate on this story. There's a reason when they made the Nier Automata anime, they had to change a bunch of the story, because this is a game series. You can't just tell one for one in any other medium. It has to be a video game, because that is how it's constructed. Some of the best soundtracks out there, some of the best visuals out there, some of the best characters out there. These are games that will have you feeling every emotion across the spectrum. Quite frankly, they are simply awesome. And in my opinion, they are required playing for anyone that is even remotely interested in video game stories. Nier Automata Game of the Yorha Edition is 60% off for $15.99. And Nier Replicant version 0.1.2247448739. These games are crazy. 60% off for $23.99. Yeah, the next Nier game may be far out. However, a game that is very much in the spirit of Nier, that is also equally fun and enjoyable, Stellar Blade. It is a combat system that's a bit slower paced, but it's also more focused on parrying and dodging than in Nier Automata, which is far more fast-paced and chaotic and hack and slash in nature. But while the combat may be a different flavor, I think the world of Stellar Blade is also phenomenal, with great characters, an absolutely beautiful soundtrack, and a story that admittedly starts out rather okay at first. However, over the course of the game, it just builds and builds and builds, and when you finish the game, you'll be going, my god, that was absolutely amazing, and I need the next game. It's not the biggest discount of the day. However, if you're craving more Nier and stuff like Nier, definitely check out Stellar Blade at 20% off for $47.99. Modern Final Fantasy can be rather polarizing. However, I still think it produces games that are really fun to play. Final Fantasy XVI being a prime example of this. Is it a perfect game? Absolutely not. However, what it gets right, it gets so right. Clive Rossfield being the protagonist, I mean, he just absolutely is so great. Easily one of my favorite protagonists the series has ever had. Combined with a combat system that I think is pretty good. A lot of people compare it to Devil May Cry, and yeah, there's a few comparisons to be made there. I don't think it's a perfect one though. Your sword attacks are rather rudimentary. However, the meat and potatoes of the combat loop in Final Fantasy XVI comes in the form of your icon abilities. Over the course of the game, you gain powers from these giant icons, Titan, Garuda, Phoenix, etc., etc., and you pair their abilities up with each other and mix and match to create different combos. Combined with phenomenal music, and I do think it's a rather well put together mainline entry. And if you want to try it out before actually buying it, there is a rather good demo for the game, where you'll get a feel for the feel of the game, the flow of the combat, and if you then want to proceed into the regular game, it's 50% off for $24.99.
He never gets me anything.
And that'll do it for my recommendations for this Steam Black Friday sale. However, here's where you come in. Leave a comment down below with your own recommendations. The games that you've picked up, games you think people should be on the lookout for at this Steam Black Friday sale. I'd love to hear your tips, love to hear your recommendations, and to hear your perspectives. And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And Square Enix has a Nier-sized problem. Some of my favorite games ever made, and we just haven't seen a new one in so long. What's going on? Well, Yoko Taro gave us a peek behind the curtain. If you want to find out what's going on, you should check out this video right here for more. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again!